The US Justice Department asked a judge on Thursday to make public the warrant that authorized an FBI search of Donald Trump's Florida home after the former president attacked the search as an act of political retribution. The search was part of an investigation into whether Trump illegally removed records from the White House as he left office, some of which the Justice Department believes are classified. Attorney General Merrick Garland, the country's top law enforcement officer, told a news conference that he had personally approved the decision to order the search. The department also seeks to make public a redacted receipt of the items seized.
Good afternoon. Since I became Attorney General, I have made clear that the Department of Justice will speak through its court filings and its work. Just now, the Justice Department has filed a motion in the Southern District of Florida to unseal a search warrant and property receipt relating to a court-approved search that the FBI conducted earlier this week. That search was of premises located in Florida belonging to the former president. The department did not make any public statements on the day of the search. The former president publicly confirmed the search that evening, as is his right. Copies of both the warrant and the FBI property receipt were provided on the day of the search to the former president's counsel, who was on site during the search. The search warrant was authorized by a federal court upon the required finding of probable cause. The property receipt is a document that federal law requires law enforcement agents to leave with the property owner. The department filed the motion to make public the warrant and receipt in light of the former president's public confirmation of the search, the surrounding circumstances, and the substantial public interest in this matter. Faithful adherence to the rule of law is the bedrock principle of the Justice Department and of our democracy. Upholding the rule of law means applying the law evenly, without fear or favor. Under my watch, that is precisely what the Justice Department is doing. All Americans are entitled to the even-handed application of the law, to due process of the law, and to the presumption of innocence. Much of our work is by necessity conducted out of the public eye. We do that to protect the constitutional rights of all Americans and to protect the integrity of our investigations. Federal law, long-standing department rules, and our ethical obligations prevent me from providing further details as to the basis of the search at this time. There are, however, certain points I want you to know. First, I personally approved the decision to seek a search warrant in this matter. Second, the department does not take such a decision lightly. Where possible, it is standard practice to seek less intrusive means as an alternative to a search and to narrowly scope any search that is undertaken. Third, let me address recent unfounded attacks on the professionalism of the FBI and Justice Department agents and prosecutors. I will not stand by silently when their integrity is unfairly attacked. The men and women of the FBI and the Justice Department are dedicated, patriotic public servants. Every day, they protect the American people from violent crime, terrorism, and other threats to their safety while safeguarding our civil rights. They do so at great personal sacrifice and risk to themselves. I am honored to work alongside them. This is all I can say right now. More information will be made available in the appropriate way and at the appropriate time. Thank you.
Mr. Attorney General, the former president said this
FBI agents? Thank you all for your questions, but as I said, this is all I can say at this time.
The request, which Los Angeles criminal defense attorney called unprecedented, means the public could learn more about what investigators were looking for at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Palm Beach on Monday during the unprecedented search of a former president's home.
completely unprecedented. It's really historically shocking. It's hard to kind of understate how shocking it is from a historical perspective, because you are executing a search warrant on a former sitting president. What the political fallout really could be is if this really is the end of it, and this was really just about archived materials and presidential records acts, and all they wanted to do was recover these items. I think, Mr. Trump has already enjoyed donning this role as a martyr, and this will further feed into that. The only unknown, I think, is what step Trump and his team will take next. And if they allow for the warrant to be released and the underlying supporting evidence for that warrant, then there's really not much more to the story, I think. But if they object somehow, then that's going to raise a lot of eyebrows about, well, what is in the warrant, or what's in the attached supporting evidence of the warrant that the president doesn't want out. And so that could be another interesting twist in this already incredibly interesting story. It's pretty remarkable, and what's already a remarkable story, because it's fairly unprecedented for the DOJ to release a warrant or an affidavit with a case that is still, quote unquote, pending, which leads me to believe if this might be the end of it. And, perhaps this wasn't the tip of the iceberg, but perhaps it is the whole iceberg, that this really all does come down to the government trying to recover these documents that they felt were, rightfully belonged with the archives and part of the Presidential Records Act. I think some of this has to be viewed as a bit of PR recovery by the Department of Justice because of the media attention. I think that surprised them, perhaps caught them off guard, that they didn't already have a statement prepared on this. And I think they realized that the public interest was kind of running rampant on, was this, were criminal charges looming against the former president? Was this part of a larger investigation? Was this related to the January 6th committee? And I think he realized that he kind of needed to readjust the narrative on this and kind of nip things in the bud, as it were, and say, listen, we've done what we came to do. We've recovered the documents. We're willing to release the warrant in at least a gesture towards transparency. And I wouldn't be surprised if this were the end of it as far as these documents go.
Garland's decision to publicly confirm the search was highly unusual. US law enforcement officials typically do not disclose ongoing investigations to protect people's rights. In this case, Trump himself announced the search in a Monday night statement. Garland said the Justice Department made the request in light of the former president's public confirmation of the search, the surrounding circumstances, and the substantial public interest in this matter. A source familiar with the matter said the FBI retrieved about 10 boxes from Trump's property during the search.